right, two things you also need to know about feedback is once you click the feedback button, then you have the top section that is the parents sees that. Then there's a smaller section in the middle that is for teacher-to-teacher information, teacher-to-teacher feedback. That is for information that you might want the other teacher to know. They're still working on the E sound, watch for dropped endings, something of that nature. If it's somebody that you're going to see on a regular basis, that information could be more like just information to you, to remind you of what you looked at. Because the next time you teach that student, it'll show you so many of the last feedbacks, and you can see what they've been working on, or if they worked with another teacher, some information that they may have left. I know one of the ones that I find really helpful is if a particular student always does generally well and needs extending throughout the class. I mean, I do it in every class, but knowing ahead of time that I'm 100% with this student going to have to do that, I might pull out a little more materials and props, or more tips and tricks out of my bag to enhance that lesson a little more for them, because they might be not that the level's too easy for them, because there's some information that they probably struggle with at some point. It just may be in this particular lesson, or for the majority of the lesson they know it really well, and so they only need help in certain areas. And so you can really just kind of take them above and beyond what is sitting in front of them and help them further along. The other thing with feedback that you should know is you can edit almost all of your feedback. You cannot edit if it is a UA, a unit assessment. I have no idea why, but you cannot edit a unit assessment. So before you hit that submit button, make sure you have the student's name correct and that you have all the information in there the way that you would like it, especially on a UA. If for some reason you are like, oh my gosh, I totally messed up on that, and it won't let you edit, because I think you have a certain time limit after the class before you can edit. Again, usually I know my edits and I get in pretty quick, so I usually don't drag this stuff out. So check the portal and the support tab for time limits on all of this stuff. But you can always leave, send a ticket in and choose the LP, which is learning partner, and let them know your mistake and what needs to be changed in there. Also, before you submit, again, you have the to the parent feedback, to the other teacher feedback. Then this is where you click, excellent, good, all that stuff. And then if you keep going, there is a section for the learning partner. So I don't always type something in there, but if there is something that you need, like you can clarify something, then you can leave that in that box for the learning partner. All right, well, if you watched my video on the tour of the teacher portal, then you know where to find the parent feedback. This is feedback that the parent has left you. Now, once you go to that, then you will see 5 apples. Let's hope. You'll see 5 apples, and then a lot of my parents don't leave a lot of feedback, as far as meaning that they type something to me. Usually there are little what we call tags, like patient, good classroom environment. I mean, I don't know what all the tags are they could choose from, because sometimes I just get one tag, and then sometimes I get like a million tags. So I don't think I've seen them all yet, and then sometimes I get no tags whatsoever, and that's fine. If they type something to you, it's going to show you the Chinese, but don't panic, because usually right underneath of that is a word you can click on, translate. It looks like a link, and it will open underneath of it and have the translation. Now, another thing about parent feedback is you have, I believe it is 72 hours if you need to have it looked at. So maybe you disagree with the feedback, and if it's 3 apples and under, you can click a button that says for review. I want to say it's towards the bottom of the parent, once you're looking at the parent. for that particular parent, because it puts a list of all of them. You can also reply to the feedback if you would like to say something back. Sometimes if they have left something, and sometimes if they don't, then I'll type back, thank you for your feedback, see you in the next class, or something like that. You don't have to reply. I don't think it's necessarily expected, but you can do that if you choose. So I talked about it in my bookings video. So if you have not watched that and you want some information about booking, that's a good place to go. But I just want to touch on real quickly, in case you're a brand new teacher and you started with this video, maybe you got your very first booking request. We call that a priority booking. And you're like, I don't know what to do. That's not a time I teach. Is it okay for me to refuse it? Don't panic. You can ignore it. You don't have to accept or refuse it. And if it's not a time you teach, just hit refuse. I do wish they would reword that refuse and just make it like decline or something, because I don't know, refuse seems a little harsh, especially if you have a second job. Maybe you're already at that second job and you can't teach because of that, and it's not necessarily because you don't want to teach that child. You just physically cannot teach that child because you're at another job. Now, there is times when you need to take off. You can just not open any slots at all. If you are taking off more time, you can, again, this is also in the booking video, is you can do change availability and put in your dates. That really doesn't do anything. It doesn't block your slots or anything like that, and sometimes the parents don't even notice it. But it is at least in there for those parents that do notice that, know that, you just haven't left forever. You're just gonna be gone for a little bit. All right, so now we have stats and insights. If you are, click on either of those, or if you're in the app on the phone, it is called Insights. That is generally how many classes you have taught. On the stats page, it is the percentage of your feedback response. It is the percentage of parent feedback that you have. And, what is that third one? And how many slots you have open, and how many PPT, the peak times you have open. And on the app, you will have a flower. That's your number of followers. It usually tells you your days. The flower's underneath your name. Your number of days teaching, your number of students, and the number of minutes that you have taught. All right, I'm definitely going to consult my notes on this, because I'm going to go over and make sure that I get all of the abbreviations, because everybody loves abbreviations. So if you see SNS, that is a student no-show. If you see TNS, that is a teacher no-show. Now, where am I going to see this? Usually Facebook groups and the Hutong, all those discussion groups is where you're going to see some of that information. If you see an SIT, then that is a student IT. A TIT is a teacher IT. FB is feedback. SN is short notice. That's when you click if you're on the web, then you click and click it short notice for that. You can be booked under 24 hours. If you're in the app, then it's that where it says 24 and you click on it and it turns blue. That's the short notice. That's the SN. PB is priority booking. That's the booking request that we talked about earlier. All right, let's talk about payments. Money, 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 money. All right, when do you get paid? Well, you have two options when you signed up. Is you can get paid 2 times a month, or you can get paid once a month. Check on when the 2 times a month is. I know the second one's the end of the month. I'm just not sure when the first one comes, because I do once a month. I was a brick and mortar teacher, which is another abbreviation, B&M, brick and mortar teacher. And I got paid once a month, so I just do it once a month. And so all of your incentives will show up at that end of the month one. Even if you're on the 2, it shows up on the end of the month one. So don't panic if you get that first paycheck and you're like, but I did. You probably did. It's just gonna show up on that second one. Always read the fine print carefully on all those incentives that they do. And again, always, 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 always double check my information with the portal support tab, okay? Now, feedback, we talked about earlier, we talked about feedback. In my mind, you've got 12 hours. I want full pay for that class, so I'm gonna get it done before the 12, well before the 12 hours. Oh, when you're looking at your payments, when you click on the payment tab, or if you're on the web and look at the teacher portal and find payment and go there, and it will tell you all the it's like broken down into sections. Don't panic if you're like, I don't understand. I have all these sections. If you have different certifications, for example, I also teach the phonics, and so it'll have the major classes and it lists my phonics classes separately. I don't know why. So you might have several categories if you have several certifications, and it's just adding it up. It's just breaking it down for you into the sections. Your either your 50 cents before the 45 classes, or your $1 once you've hit the 45 classes and above, is there's a separate section for incentives or finish classes. Well, now I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it'll be obvious to you. All right, so that's where that's gonna fall. It's not gonna be up there with the others, so don't panic when you go, I thought I was supposed, I have like 55 classes. That's supposed to be like if you have a $7 base payout, it's supposed to be an $8 class. I don't understand why it says $7. Look down, because it is there. So just double check. If it is not, and it's the day of, you've got to get time for that class to process, which sometimes happens midnight Beijing time. So you may just have to wait till later in our afternoon to see that process. If it doesn't, submit a ticket. Tell them what's going on. When you submit tickets, short sentences, okay? You might get someone that speaks fluent English, but most of the time they don't speak fluent English, and you don't want to lose anything while they're reading it they may not understand. So make sure that you keep it simple and short. There's no need to elaborate. I don't see my 50-cent finish pay. Just keep it real short, and make so that they understand exactly what the problem is, so they can fix it exactly. Turnaround time is usually 24 hours, but usually I get the canned response. We're checking into it, or we're sending it to the right department if I've accidentally clicked the wrong department to send it to. So in the support tab is where you can get to the store to buy swag. So if you've been trying to get that dino in the token center, or it's gonna take me forever to get the tokens, or every time I get my tokens it's gone, well, you can continue to save up so you can use your tokens and not pay any money for that. Or you can go to the store and buy it if that's what you would like to. Thank you for watching on this beautiful spring day. Like, subscribe, share, and click that notification button for all the wonderful content that is coming up on my channel. Please leave in the comments down below if there is a question I did not cover, and I will answer it, or I will direct you to the place to get your answer. Thank you for watching. Bye.